talking about. So you have actually service levels. You have to meet certain service levels so that certain key businesses are always up to standard, right? And things like provisioning and configuration, which I mentioned to you just now. So, can I just have a show of hands? Are everybody here managing some sort of service today? Yes? Okay, great. So this is in general what we gather in terms of managing servers or managing the data center. So some of the things that we do is hardware provisioning. So in a lifetime or a cycle of a typical server administrator, one of the jobs is to provision new servers, correct? Yeah. If you, for example, your SharePoint servers suddenly becomes a little bit too heavy, you need to provision a new SharePoint server in the cloud, right? So server provisioning is one of the key components. Then you have same thing but virtually. Everybody's talking about virtualization nowadays, right? Why? Anyone? Saving costs, space, environment, green IT, right? Save the world by cutting down one server. Ease of management. Well, the minute you reduce the number of servers, automatically you in a way you do reduce the amount of management that you do. Also other things like cost, right? Like what you mentioned, and provisioning time, right? Because in the virtual environment, you don't really need to buy servers anymore. You don't need to wait for the 4 to 6 weeks delivery time, right? You don't need to wait for the procurement process. So typically what took you probably 3 to 6 months may take you now 3 to 6 hours to provision a server. So that's why everybody's talking about virtualization. Obviously, if you have the hardware, you have to deploy the operating system as well. And then we talk about performance and health monitoring. If you manage critical servers, you always need to know how they are performing, am I right? You need to be able to tell how it is performing and whether there's any problems with it, am I right? Yeah? Imagine this scenario, how nice it will be if, let's say, would it be very useful for you if, let's say, before the server is having a problem, right, the server call you. Excuse me, Mr. Administrator, I'm actually going to have a problem next Friday at 2 p.m. Right? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah? And then on top of that, it says, and the problem is, it's a hard disk problem. One of my hard disks, the second hard disk, is going to fail. Wow, no need to work already. Every day stay at home. Yeah? But that would be a really, really dream scenario, right? Because why? Most of the times, we will know that problem when the hard disk actually dies, correct? And sometimes it is too late when that happens. So it would be great if we get to know all this before it actually happens, right? So performance and health monitoring is very, very key to managing the data center. And then if really something happens, we don't know about it, then there comes the DR exercise. So there must be a way for us to recover back the SharePoint server, the database server, the web server, or any servers which are critical in the least amount of time. Right? And most importantly, the recovery actually works. I'm not sure, how many of you have ever done a recovery before? Anybody? No? Have you done a recovery before? Successful? Successful? Wow, thank you. You are 1 out of 10. Well, just to share your experience, my first, or rather my second job 10 years ago was a backup administrator. I quit after 6 months. Well, I thought I did my job very, very well, right? For 6 months, I did my job very well. I made sure I checked the backup every day, every morning without fail. I checked the logs to make sure it's backed up, right? And I thought I did my job very, very well until I had to do the recovery, right? So one day, one of the servers crashed, and we tried to do a recovery, and guess what? The recovery failed. Right? Why? Don't know. Right? It was so hard to pinpoint. Right? We asked consultants or vendor experts, so many different opinions, right? Oh, backup tape corruption. Oh, this backup tape looks like it's quite old. Right? Oh, the network, no, there's a noise, so cannot, So backup is not only the one that is key, restoration, I feel, is more key. Okay? So I'm going to go straight into the demo. I promised Patrick and Raymond that I'm going to not talk too much about slides. I'm going to go straight into the demo. So the first technology that I wanted to share with you today is System Center Operations Manager. So how many of you know this product? Yeah, do you have it in your environment today? No? You have it in your environment? Where are you from? MISC. How are you using this product?
It just started.
Oh, just started. Okay, deploying to all your, managing all your servers today? Okay, great. Now, give me a second while I... Okay, great. So that is the kind of good alerts before disaster. Okay, so System Center Operations Manager is one of the products in the Microsoft System Center suite. And its key functionality is to monitor your server workloads, services, and your entire IT server environment. Right? Now, I wouldn't actually stop in servers. So if you look at certain different descriptions, a lot of it is concentrated on Microsoft servers. But we've used it for many of our customers to monitor their entire IT environment. Right? Now, it is very critical in any monitoring system, or rather for me. Right? I've been doing this for 8 years. And it is not good enough just to monitor a server. Right? Let's say you have SharePoint servers. Is it okay if I just monitor the SharePoint front-end server? If that goes down, means it's down. If that one is up, means everything is okay. Is that okay? So when a user cannot go into a SharePoint site, right? Where do you check first? Where do you check first? Service? Okay. Okay. Alright. Where do you check first? The server. So you go to which server? SharePoint, the web server. So you go to the web server and it says, oh, okay, user problem. Is it? No, right? Then you go and check other servers, right? Then you go check the services. Then you go check the database, right? So that's where the troubleshooting time actually takes a lot of time, right? And it's not really that. Let's say your SharePoint server is okay. You look at your SQL database, it's okay. Then, should everything be fine? No, then what? IS is fine. Then what? Connectivity, the network device, right? So if all servers are fine, and one port on the network switch is the one that's faulty, it is also faulty, right? It also affects the whole SharePoint environment. So what I always